What's up, everybody? This is Jeff Bernard with Solve Systems, and today we're going to go over how to set up Logic Apps with the Azure OpenAI Service and the Get Embedding built-in action that has just been released for Logic Apps. So we have to set up Logic Apps in a specific way on the standard plan to be able to get this functionality, and we're going to go over everything in the video. Please like and subscribe to get notified of all the cool content that we have coming up. And please reach out if you need some development help. Let's go. So we're going to reference the documentation first. This is the Azure OpenAI Service. It's sort of OpenAI built into Microsoft Azure, or connected on the back end. And so we can see that they have some actions here that are built into Logic Apps, and one of them is Get N embedding. They have chat completions. We have multiple chat completions, multiple embeddings. And so this allows us to be able to use these actions in Logic Apps to create things like a small RAG app or to create embeddings from documents and everything you're going to need to build an AI app. So we're going to go dive into a TestRG group now. I just created a standard resource group, and then we're going to go to the marketplace and get Azure, or we'll just type in OpenAI. And we'll add this service. Test open AI 00. We'll give it kind of a specific name so we don't get any, and it's already taken. So let's try this. There we go. Looks like that works. It's going to be set up in the East zone. We want to make sure that when we set up our Logic app, that is also in the East zone. We're going to validate it, and then we're going to deploy it. It looks like the deployment is in progress, so we're going to go and create our Logic app. We go back to main page, into our resource group. It won't show up for the OpenAI service because it's getting created, so we'll create our Logic app. And I want to point out a few things about this. Whenever you're creating a Logic app and you want those embedded OpenAI functions in there, we want to make sure that it's on the standard, in one of these standard plans. It has to be single tenant. It's not available in multi-tenant consumption, and so that's what you're going to have to set up to get those actions. It took me a while to figure this out. It's in the documentation, but why read the documentation when you can just spend hours trying to figure it out yourself? So, test embedding 23. We'll just give it a name. It's going to set it up in Central Canada for this. Just try to set it up in the East Zone, specifically with the OpenAI service, just so you don't have any issues with connecting from across region, have a cross region issue. So we're going to create, submitting the deployment, and it looks like that is getting set up. While this is getting set up, we're going to go back into our resource group. We're going to go into our OpenAI service, and you'll be presented with a few options. You have a development tab, monitor, but we're going to specifically go into the Explore AI Foundry. This is where Microsoft is pushing all of their stuff into lately. So we'll go to Deploy Base Model, Embedding, and we have some options here. We can choose ADA02, or we can choose 3 large, 3 small. We're just going to choose 3 small. To start, we'll say create resource. And it will create that resource. In the meantime, we will go back to our service and we will look at our Logic app. We'll refresh this, and it looks like, yeah, our Logic app is set up here. And we will go to Workflows, Add. We'll make it stateful. We'll give it a name. And then we'll create it. Refresh. And we'll see it here. We'll click into it. Click into the designer. We have our actions here, we'll just give it a request. And this is just going to create a URL to be able to post to from something like Postman. We'll say Azure OpenAI. So you have Azure OpenAI and then Azure OpenAI. It's kind of redundant. I don't know why they don't build this into the same functionality. I'm sure there's some difference, and I'll probably do videos on that later. But we're just going to focus on the get a single embedding right now. So we'll click get an embedding. We'll give it a name. Okay, and we do URL and key-based authentication. So where do we get this? Back in our model that we deployed, we have these endpoints, right? We're not going to use those endpoints. You could use them through a HTTP request, but for this, the action actually requires the service that was set up over here. So we'll go back to our dashboard, go to our test RG group, and we'll click into our OpenAI service. From here, it lands on the Get Started tab. We're going to go to the Develop tab. And then we'll copy this endpoint. We'll put it into our Logic app. And we're also going to want to get our key here. We'll add back in that /, and then we'll add it in there. Okay, so we go back to our deployment. We get the name of it. This is not like a GUID or a UUID. We want to get this literal specific name of it. Paste it in there. Make sure there's no spaces before, because it'll just keep running, and then have a 404 because it can't find it because there's a character there. And then we'll just add some text. Any text. This would actually be inserted document or any text that you wanted to create embeddings from, right? So we save it. And then you'll have this URL created here. All right, from there, we're going to go and put it in Postman. Going to give it a request. It'll take a second to push through. And then we see it's accepted. So as we can see, the workflow ran, and then we have embeddings. So these are the vector representation of this text. We could then send that to something like Azure AI Search or into a Cosmo DB with vector data type, and start creating that RAG pipeline, which we will do in subsequent videos. So if you like this content, please like and subscribe to be notified of the future videos we put out, because we'll be building more AI applications within Logic Apps, a lower code solution. And if you need any dev help, please reach out to us or check our packages out in the link below so that we can work on an ongoing basis to improve your projects. Have a good day. Talk to you later.